It was a meeting closely watched around the world. There was a handshake and a warm hug as Prime Minister Narendra Modi met President Volodymyr Zelenskyy on the first ever visit to Ukraine by an Indian Prime Minister. Before their official talks began, there was a poignant moment when the two leaders visited the Martyrologist exposition at the Ukraine National Museum in Kyiv in honor of the children killed in the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war. Prime Minister Modi said the conflict is particularly devastating for young children. During his meeting with the Russian president 6 weeks ago, the Prime Minister had stated, "When children are killed, the heart bleeds and the pain is unbearable." As the two leaders met at the presidential palace in Kyiv, Prime Minister Narendra Modi told the Ukrainian president, and I quote, "We were never neutral. From day one, we have taken a side and we stand firmly for peace." The Prime Minister also told President Zelenskyy, "Whatever help is required from a humanitarian standpoint, India will always stand with you and will go above and beyond to support you." The India-Ukraine joint statement issued after the talks states, "The Indian side reiterated its principled position and focus on peaceful resolution through dialogue and diplomacy, as a part of which India attended the Summit on Peace in Ukraine held in Switzerland in June this year." Prime Minister Modi reiterated the need for sincere and practical engagement between all stakeholders to develop innovative solutions that will have broad acceptability and contribute towards early restoration of peace. He reiterated India's willingness to contribute in all possible ways to facilitate an early return of peace. India's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar said at a press conference that the two leaders also discussed Prime Minister Modi's conversation with Russian President Vladimir Putin during a meeting in Moscow in July. Jaishankar said it is India's view that the two sides need to engage with each other to find a solution. India and Ukraine also signed 4 agreements today, which would provide for cooperation in agriculture and food industry, medicine, culture, and humanitarian assistance. The two leaders discussed various aspects of bilateral ties. According to the joint statement, both leaders expressed mutual interest in working towards elevating bilateral relations from a comprehensive partnership to a strategic partnership in the future. The two sides agreed to expedite work on expanding the legal framework of bilateral ties, particularly regarding mutual protection of investments and exploring mutual recognition of educational documents and academic degrees. Now, this has been described as a historic visit to Ukraine, the first ever visit by an Indian Prime Minister since the establishment of diplomatic relations between the two countries in 1992. The visit comes at a significant moment in the more than 2 years of war, as Ukraine's forces are mounting a major incursion into Russia's Kursk region, while Moscow's army is advancing in eastern Ukraine. Prime Minister Modi reached Ukraine after a nearly 10-hour train journey on Rail Force 1 from Poland, Kyiv's close ally and a key transit for foreign leaders heading to its war-torn neighbor. When Prime Minister Modi had met and hugged Putin in Moscow in the month of July, he had received trenchant criticism from the Western media and President Zelenskyy himself, who had termed the meeting and the embrace a huge disappointment and a big blow to peace efforts. Addressing this criticism during the press conference today, External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar said, "There is a cultural gap which people in the West may not understand." Today, Zelenskyy hugged Prime Minister Modi as well. Of course, India has long-standing ties with Russia and Moscow remains a key supplier of oil and weapons to New Delhi. Jaishankar said much of the discussion between Prime Minister Modi and President Zelenskyy was about the Russia-Ukraine conflict. During multiple interactions even in the past at various international forums with both the Russian and Ukrainian presidents, Prime Minister Modi has been at pains to point out that India is on the side of peace and would continue to do everything within its means to support a peaceful resolution to the Ukraine conflict, and that the way to peace can only be through dialogue and diplomacy. On Thursday, Prime Minister Modi held talks with Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk in Warsaw and said the ongoing conflicts in Ukraine and West Asia are a matter of deep concern and that dialogue and diplomacy is the way forward to restore peace. He added, "This is India's firm belief that no problem can be solved on the battlefield. In any crisis, the loss of lives of innocent people has become the biggest challenge for the whole of humanity." The question is, can India play peacemaker between Russia and Ukraine?